Another day, another video. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. You are now tuned in with the modern day Moses and classes in session. So you already see, we are in Budget 101 by yours truly, Professor Moses, aka the modern day Moses, BKA, Mr. Living Abundance himself, CKA, we trying to get to the abundance lifestyle, DKA, let's get this money. EKA, I hope y'all ready to learn today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell so you can stay notified of when I drop new videos. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms at the modern day Moses, 3 S's, because it's all about the Trinity. So today we're going to get into today's topic, which is budgeting. And budgeting is a lot, but I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to make it simple and I'm going to make it digestible so that way you too can apply it to your life and change your financial trajectory. Because this is episode 3 of the Live in Abundance series. So for today's agenda, we will be talking about the importance of budgeting, budget do's and don'ts, different budget methods, budget examples, and last but not least, how I budget and how often. So I hope you're ready to learn. So first up, like any good thing in life, you need a plan. And your budget is your plan. So you need a budget. No one's exempt. If your goal is to keep your finances in order to be financially independent or have financial stability, you need a budget. And I know I've been throwing budgeting around, the budget word, budget this, budget that, and we all hate the B word. And when it comes to the B word, a lot of people look lost, look like a deer in headlights because they don't really know how to budget, the importance of budget, or why we should be budgeting in the first place. But this is one of the 4 walls when it comes to building our financial foundation. You know, last video I talked about we're building a house. We got to lay down the concrete. We got to build the walls, build a roof, and then we're going to furnish the inside. This is one of those walls we're building. So a budget is a financial plan on how to spend your money. You ever checked your account and wonder where your money went? One day you got $200. Next day you got $33. Feels like your money disappeared. After this video, that shouldn't be happening to you no more, because with a budget, you can always look back and review to see where your finances went. A budget helps you recognize bad spending habits as well as fix them. We sometimes hate budgets because we feel like they're restrictive. It doesn't allow us to do what we want with our money. But a budget is a plan of where you tell the money to go. So if you feel like you need some fun in your life, budget it in. You drink coffee often, you want to go to Starbucks 3 times a week, budget it in. You're a gamer like me, you need some V-Bucks, update your Fortnite Battle Pass, budget it in so that way you know where your money to go, you have a plan on spending it, and when you look back to review your budget, you can see where it went. So without the budget, we won't be able to get to the abundance lifestyle, because we do have to keep track of every single dollar that we receive as well as every single dollar that we let out. We got to stack our money, be aware of our spending, and that's what a budget for. It helps you recognize that. And you're probably saying, I like that, I want to go ahead and get started, I'm ready to create me a budget. Well, look no further, because I'm going to show you how to create your own budget, and every month you'll be able to customize it in order to fit your needs, because every budget is like a fingerprint. They're not all going to match. They're all going to look different. No 2 budgets will ever be the same. How to create your own budget. This is going to require preparation on your part in order to gather everything that you need. First thing you want to do is gather all your financial statements. Bank documents, bank statements, credit card statements, pay stub, bills, any documents that you have financially that will help you determine your income that you get monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, and then 2, all of your expenses and their due dates, whether it's utilities, mortgage, rent, car loan, car insurance, things of that nature. You want to get all your income so you can know how much you make a month, and then you want to get all your expenses so you know what's going out, because the income is coming in and the expenses is going out. Once you have your documents gathered, what you're going to do is go ahead and calculate your monthly income. Now that you have your monthly income, let's say my monthly income is $3,000 a month. We know this is what we got coming in, right? Next, you want to list your monthly expenses and their due dates. because that's important. The due dates is important. So mortgage, as I mentioned before, mortgage, rent, utilities, car insurance, car payments, car loans, whatever you have that you pay out monthly, gym memberships. Don't forget that Netflix subscription. We want that written down too. Apple Music, Spotify, don't forget that too. Every subscription that you have, and if you got an iPhone, you know Apple taking out that $2.99 or $9.99 every month. You don't know when, but if you check, you'll see that it comes out every month at this specific time. So make sure you gather all those documents, those expenses, so that we can know how much we have that's going out. So let's say my expenses for the month is $2,200. Expenses, income. So already you see that I have $800 left for me. Or do I? We're going to get into this in a bit, but right now let's just focus on the income and our expenses. And while you're doing your expenses, I do want to let you know that there are some expenses that you're going to have to do an estimation, such as gas. Gas varies how far you go or how often you drive your car, where you're going. Groceries, that is an estimate of how much you're eating or what's being eaten and things of that nature, what you're cooking, what you're not cooking, the types of food. If you buy steak a lot, it might be a little higher on the higher side. If you're eating chicken or turkey, it might be on the lower side. So you have to estimate those and just look back on previous bank statements to see what the average was and just do that. And when it comes to your budget, you can either create this in an Excel sheet, paper or pen if you're old fashioned. There are mobile apps where you can do a budget as well. For me personally, I'm a paper and pen type guy, so I got a notebook, one of those college subject wide rule notebooks, and I just write my budget in there or on your phone. So I've seen people do their budget on their phone as well. So these are different ways. Pick whichever way is preferable to you. So now that we're starting the process to do our budget, let's go ahead and talk about the budget do's and don'ts before we get into the different budget methods. So do give it a try. I know budgeting sucks. I know budgeting is not the thing that you want to do on a bi-weekly, weekly, monthly basis. You don't want to keep track. No one wants to do it because it's responsibility. Not even responsibility. It requires discipline. And sometimes we don't like discipline. But we need to budget because budgeting is very serious. So please do try it out. Watch it change your life. Do start today. Don't hesitate. After this video, while you watching this video, practice with me. Do your budget. Do try it out. And not only try, we got to stick to it. Stick it out. It gets better with time. Budgeting is like wine. It gets better with time. Another do is do write out the actual expenses. Don't rough estimate. You might say that, oh, my car payment is $600, but in reality it might be $571. Those few dollars can help make a difference in other areas of our budget. So please write out the actual amounts. The only thing that you could really estimate is the gas and groceries and things of that nature. Just do your best to keep it as close as possible and try to stick to it. Said some do's, let's get us some don'ts. Don't get discouraged when you look at your budget and this side, your expenses might be higher than your income and this might be a negative 800. Don't get discouraged. You're not broke. You're just without funding. And you're without the proper money management skills. And that's what I'm here to teach you. So please do not get discouraged. First month is always the hardest month. After that, I promise you it gets easier. Do not forget when you budget during January to December, do not forget those irregular expenses such as holidays, birthdays, property taxes if your house is paid off and pay property taxes, anniversaries, family vacations, marriage, things of that nature. Do not forget about those irregular expenses. So if you know that your significant other birthday is in April, your April budget is going to be different from your January budget. And your January budget is going to be different from your December budget. And your December budget is going to be different from your October budget because that's your birthday month. So each month is not going to be the same, but each month can be a template to the next month. You just make adjustments because it is your budget. And like I said in the beginning, a budget is a plan on where you're going to spend your money. So please make those adjustments. It helps you with sticking it out. I know I am an extremist. I can be an extremist. I don't want you to be like me. Do not overrestrict your budget. You tell your budget where the money goes. If you want 3 pumpkin spice lattes in the fall, budget that 3 pumpkin spice latte in your budget, so that way you know where your money is going. And also, if you can see if you can really afford those 3 pumpkin spice lattes. Don't overspend or overrestrict yourself in a particular category. For example, don't be like, oh, I'm spending $0 in clothing and your pants got a hole in it. So either you gotta get it repaired or you gotta buy some new pants. But now you're like, oh, my budget said I can't spend any money, so now I have to walk around with holy pants. We're not saying that. Don't overrestrict yourself. Last don't is do not budget too far in advance. Meaning, if it's January, you should not have your budget planned out for February, March, April, and May already, because you don't know what's going to happen in January. You don't know what's going to happen in February, because what happened in January and February might affect your March, April, May budget. So don't budget too far in advance. Keep your budget recent and keep your budget updated is always a plan. So for me personally, I probably don't budget more than a month in advance. You could possibly budget for the entire quarter for 3 months. But remember, you need to check your budget every month, reflect back on month 1, see what happened in month 1, to see how it's going to affect month 2, to see how it's going to affect month 3. But don't budget more than 3 months. Please. You can't see the future. You never know what's going to happen. You never know. You might get a pay raise. Now your budget, you might got, instead of 800 extra, you might got 1,600. You never know. So keep your budget recent. Keep your budget updated. Now that we talked about our budget do's and don'ts, let's go ahead and talk about the different budget methods, such as zero-based budgeting, pay yourself first, cash envelope system, and the 50-30-20 rule. So let's go ahead and get into zero-based budget. So for zero-based budgeting, it's best for people who have a set income each month or each pay period, or someone who can accurately estimate the income that they receive. So after calculating your monthly income, subtract all your expenses and savings until the result is at 0. So for example, if my income is $3,000 and my expenses is $2,200, I have $800 left for the month. So with that 800, let's say I get paid $1,500 a pay period. So that means I have $400 each pay period every 2 weeks, quote unquote, that I have extra. So with that $400, I would give every dollar a name basically. So let's say I send $150 towards extra savings, another $150 towards, let's say, credit card payment or whatever. And now $150, that's $300. I have an additional $100, which I would give it a name, let's say, to future vacation. I don't know what that would say, but future vacation. So if I wrote this out on a budget, and I'm going to show you an actual budget later, it would be 0. So I would have, every dollar will have a name, every dollar will have a home. I won't have anything left over to wonder where did it go. So that's zero-based budgeting. If this was like an iPad, swipe it up. Anyway, pay yourself first. Primarily focus on savings and debt repayment. With this method, you set aside a specific amount for each paycheck for savings or debt repayment, spending the rest how you see fit. So our income is $3,000, expenses is $2,200. We got left over $800, right? That's for the entire month. So with the pay yourself first system, let's say that every paycheck I want to set aside $200. So $1,500 per pay period, $1,100 expenses, that's $400 left, right? So I set aside $200 each pay period. I have $400 left over at the end of the entire month. I can spend that $400 as I see fit. But mainly when it comes to paying yourself first, usually in your budget, you want to put aside 10% first before you use the rest of the budget as you see fit. Of course, you want to cover your expenses. But outside of that, it's like, okay, I paid myself first. I can do whatever rest I want. And some people do 10%, some people do 15%, some people do 20%. When it comes to paying yourself first, use it as your discretion and make sure that you're still responsible where you're covering your incomes, because we don't want no lights getting cut off. So let's go ahead and talk about cash envelope system. So cash envelope system, some people do cash envelope. A lot of people don't do cash envelope. Cash is sometimes a thing of the past. Everything is electronic, Apple Pay, debit card, banking account. So it all depends on what you prefer. So basically with the cash envelope system, every month you put the allotted amount of each category in cash in an envelope. And if you spend everything out of that envelope, you're done for the month. So let's say that you want to do $200 for clothing. You go to the bank, withdraw $200, put it in an envelope system. When you go to the store to buy clothes, you'll take that envelope with you. So let's say you go to Forever 21, you buy a couple of items, you got $150 left. Say you go to the mall another day, buy some jeans, you got $50 left. Say you go to Victoria's Secret or wherever, get you some undergarments, spend the rest of that $50, you're done for the month, right? That's $200. So now it's the middle of the month, and let's say Fashion Nova sent you a text message saying they got a 40% off sale or act now 3-day shipping sale, and you want to buy something, but you can't because you're tapped out of your cash envelope system. Same thing go, and you use it for categories that make sense. You don't want to put a rent in a cash envelope because you don't want to have, let's say, $2,000 in an envelope sitting around. Anything can happen to it. So you would do categories such as gas, clothing, eating out, fun, and different activities like that in a cash envelope system. That way you're able to stay within your budget, and once you're done for the month. You got to wait till the next month to refill your envelope to do it again. And last but not least, 50-30-20. So the 50-30-20 rule is 50% necessities, 30% discretionary, and 20% savings or debt repayments. This budgeting is a great option for newbie budgeters or new budgeters because it does require you to meticulously track your expenses or income. You remember how earlier I was beaten knowing all your expenses and knowing all your monthly income? This requires you not to track it meticulously. You can succeed with this budget if you know what counts as a want versus a need, because discretionary is where your wants is at, necessity is where your needs at, and you are motivated to set the money aside for savings and debt repayment. The main drawback with the 50-30-20% rule is the 20% might not stretch far enough if you have high savings goal or if you have significant debt. You may need more than just 20% depending on your paycheck. So in this case, let's go ahead and break it down. 50% of 3,000 is 1,500, right? So 1,500, let's write it down here. That's ugly. 1,500 is my 50. 30% of 3,000 is 900. And then 20% of 3,000 is 600. So let's say if you have high savings goal, 600 might not work. If you have significant debt, 600 might not work. Another drawback you see right here, our 50%, which is our necessity, is 1,500, but our expenses is 2,200. I'm about to get into that. Or right here, 30% for wants, $900. I'm pretty sure people have a field day with that. But we're lacking in our and our necessities, which is our expenses. With the 50-30-20% rule, you will need to customize it to fit your needs. So just to cover our expenses with our 50-30-20 rule, with the income that we have here, we need at least 73% of this entire thing just to cover that, which will make these smaller. But that's the thing about the 50-30-20% rule. You will have to customize it to fit your needs. Customize, they do 40-25-35 if they want to save more or pay off debt more. However, you will reduce your necessity and your discretionary funds. In this case, we gotta do 74%. 74, let's see, 15. Let's do 15 right here. And 11. 74, 15, 11, which we're gonna cross all these out, and that automatically changes it. We're gonna do based off 3,000. So this is 2. Oh, that's ugly. All right, let me get in front of it. 2, 2, 2, 0, 4, 50, 3, 30. So our new budget, 50-30-20, is more like 74, 15, 11, which would be $2,220. It does cover our expenses. We can always move $20 over here. So that would be what? $450 for 15%. But if we move to 20, we now have $470. That is our discretionary. And then we're saving 11%, which is $330 every month. So this is what a 50-30-20 looks like. Now I'm going to tell you how I personally budget. I'm a pen and paper type guy. Like I said earlier, I have it in a notebook. I check it every 2 weeks because I get paid bi-weekly, and also check it at the upcoming month when I plan for the upcoming month. I set goals with my budgets as well. So for example, if I want to accomplish something in 1 month, that's what the goal is. Any extra money goes toward that goal. So for example, in January, my goal was paying tuition for school, paying a lot of money towards tuition because tuition is high. So what I do is a 70-30 rule. I do 10% to tithes, I do 10% to myself, and then I do another 10% to debt, and then the rest, 70% goes to my bills. So for example, 10% tithes, that's 300. Do a 10% on that 300, so 270, because now it's at 2,700. I do another 10% on that 270, 243. Let's do the math on this. 3,000 minus 300 minus 270 minus 243, 2187 is the rest that I have for the month. And in this case, if my expenses was 2,200, you clearly see right here, I don't have enough. I'm short a couple of dollars. So what I could do is take from any of these categories. Probably not this one because this is tithe. So I could probably take from any one of these two categories. What are we missing? What's that? $13 right here. I'm gonna take it from the 243. So instead of 243, it would be 230. And then plus the 13, that's the 2,200 for the month. And this is what I do every pay period. Every pay period, beginning of the month, I check my budget, check it twice. I feel like Santa because I'm double checking. Got to make sure who's naughty and nice when it comes to this money. Always stay on top of your money. Just know that you tell the budget what to do. Don't let the budget tell you what to do. Have fun with it. And please, please, please do not give up. Budgeting is one of the walls when it comes to money management, financial literacy, when it comes to financial stability and independence. You got to know where your money is going. So with that being said, thank you for signing in. Thank you for logging in. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on your post notification bell. Leave a comment below what you liked about this video, what budget method that you use. Follow me on all social media platforms, Modern Day Moses with 3 S's, because it's about the Trinity. Peace.